the other things I wanted to move on to was how we learn from bad decision making. So I remember working with one athlete. We were looking at something that she did, and when I said, what happened there? She said, I made the wrong decision. I said, so what can we do differently next time? And she said, well, I'll try and make the right decision, which isn't very forensic, really. You know, it doesn't give us a great space to work in. So how do we learn from mistakes in a decision-making under pressure context?
Well, I mean, in the short term on the pitch, it's about, as I said a minute ago, just readdressing what goes wrong and getting everyone on page so that you can get a positive impact and get the momentum back. I think slightly longer term, in the sort of debrief, review, whatever you want to call it, I think it's about, again, I go back to relationships. I think it's about being comfortable in the group, that you know each other well enough, or you have the confidence to be able to say to each other that you made that mistake, you know, you should have done this, or you know, perhaps we should have done it that way. Because if you're in an environment where, you know, people are whispering in corridors or quietly behind backs, nothing ever gets done, and it's never positive. And you have to have that ability that the youngest guy on the team can say to the oldest guy, and the Red Arrows have this perfectly, as I'm sure Martin will say in a minute, but it's about the youngest guy talking to the oldest guy and say, actually, I need you to do this, or, you know, you should have made that tackle. Yeah. And go with that, so there's confidence in the group, and you have to have relationships for that, and it's the older guys knowing the young guys as
How
well.
forensic can it get? So there are lots of, we haven't talked about different kinds of pressure yet, so one kind of pressure we've not spoken about is physical pressure. Your brain operates differently when you're at your physical limit, and people often make mistakes in the last 5 or 10 minutes of a match. There's mental pressure, which might be the stress of the occasion, it might be the long-term stress of the tournament, and there's time pressure when things are just moving very, very quickly. You've been making one set of, let's say, defensive decisions very well, and then you've got to change tack, and you've got to switch into a different decision-making mode. How forensic are we about thinking about what kind of pressure was it that led to that mistake? Because I still feel like we're talking about pressure as a undifferentiated.
I think you look at it as not just what went wrong, but why did it go wrong? And it's about, you know, the best coaches I've come across is making it realistic and relating it to the players as what happened. Because, you know, it might be that, you know, we knocked a ball on and someone goes, it's his fault he knocked on, but why was he in that position? Why was he given that pass? Why was there pressure coming on? And it's breaking it down to why have we got ourselves in this position and how we can be better at delivering that. And certainly at Saracens, we're very lucky. We have lots of stats and, you know, the analysis and all that. It's kept away from the players to a large extent, but the small data we are given, there's a reason for why we're showing it and why we need to improve. And I think if you do that, then you've always can get a buy-in from the players. You know, we don't want to see loads of graphs and, you know, loads of analysis like that, because you can get lost on players. But if you just break it down as to this is why this has happened and this is how we need to go on the training field and improve, I think you've always got a much better chance of getting a result next time and learning from those mistakes.